Good morning, Year 4. So welcome to your first lesson on multiplication and division. Now, this bit of learning that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks follows on from what you have been doing at home through the Oak Academy. But today we're going to be looking at efficient multiplication methods. If you just pause the video a moment, write the date and LO in your book, which is to use efficient multiplication methods. Pause the video now. Okay, so what that means is the word efficient means if you do something efficiently, it means you do it in a well-organised way. So we're going to be looking at different ways of multiplying numbers together and working out which is the most effective, which is the most efficient way of multiplying numbers together. So we're going to think of some commutative facts. So times tables don't have to be numbers don't have to be multiplied together in any particular order. So 6 times 2 equals 12. And you can switch the 6 and the 2 around to have 2 times 6, which is also 12. I wonder if you can write a commutative fact for 4 times 8 and 9 times 10. Pause the video and have a go now. So you should have 4 times 8 is 32 and 8 times 4 is 32. 9 times 10 is 90. And 10 times 9 is also 90. So they're commutative. It doesn't matter which order we multiply them together, the answer will still be the same. Now, partitioning, we were getting pretty good at this. Remember, that's when you split a number up into hundreds, tens and ones. We actually did thousands as well, didn't we, in Year 4? So you would have 547, which equals 5 hundreds, 4 tens, which is 40, and 7 ones. So just pause the video now and see if you can partition the numbers at the bottom of the slide. So here are the answers. I wonder if any of you wrote them into place value grids. Sometimes they're helpful, aren't they, to see which column different digits go in. And I wonder if you got 802 right, because 802 has got 8 hundreds, hasn't got any tens, and it's just got 2 ones. And factor pairs, this is where our times tables come in. So they're two numbers that you'd multiply together to give another number. So it's basically your times tables. So if you think of the number 12, it's got a few different factor pairs actually. So one of the factor pairs for 12 is 3 and 4 because 3 times 4 equals 12. It's also got another factor pair. I wonder if you can work out what it is. And then just pause the video, see if you can identify the factor pairs for the number 25. So they are the numbers that you would multiply together to give the number 24. So which numbers have got 24 in their times tables? Remember, factor pairs, they're like socks, they always come in twos. And here we go. The factor pairs for 24 are 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. And remember, they are commutative, so you could switch them round. 1 times 24 is the same as 24 times 1. So when we want to multiply numbers together, we need to work out which is the best method to use. So I'm going to work through some examples with you, and then it's going to be your turn to have a go yourselves. So first of all, we're going to see if we can work out 17 times 5, and we're going to use a partitioning method to do this. So got 17 times 5 here, and what we can do is we can partition the 17 into 10 and a 7, and we need to multiply both of those numbers by 5. So 10 times 5 equals 50, and 7 times by 5 is equal to 35. So we've got 10 times 5 and we've got 7 times 5. So to find out 17 times 5, we need to add these two answers together. So we have 50. As you can see, I'm showing all of my working out. So if I make a mistake, I can kind of track back to the mistake and see where it is I went wrong. So 50 add 35 is equal to 85. If you're not sure about this, why don't you have a little go at partitioning some numbers yourself and seeing if you can multiply them to give yourself a little bit more practice, or rewind the video and maybe listen to that little bit again. So the next question we're going to look through together is 25 times 8. Now 25 is a bigger number, so we can do something to that 25 to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more manageable to multiply. So we're going to use its factor pairs, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so we've got 25 times 8. Now, I know that a factor pair for 25 is 5 times by 5. So 25 times by 8 is the same as 5 times by 5 times by 8. We've just made those numbers a little bit smaller and a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply these numbers together. So I'm going to start off with 5 times by 8. 5 times by 8. Remember, they're commutative, so if you find it easier to work out your 5 times table, that's okay. So 5 times 8, remember, is the same as 8 times 5, which is 40. So if you look back at this calculation, I've used an 8 here, I've used a 5 here, so now I've got to multiply by this 5. So 40, our answer, times by 5. So we know that 4 times 5 equals 20. So 40 times 5 is 200. So the answer to 25 times by 8 is 200. Now, the final way that I'm going to work through with you is where if you've got a number that you're trying to multiply and it's close to a 10, we can use our knowledge of our 10 times tables, because they're easy, to work out the answer. Okay, so we're going to work through this one together. It's 13 times 9, and you can see that there's an array down here, and it's all of the blue dots are 9 lots of 13. Okay, and the red dots represent another lot of 13. Okay, so all together we've got 10 lots of 13, but we only really want to know the number of blue ones, but it'd take ages and ages to just count them, so we need an efficient method for multiplication to work that out. Okay, so 13 times 9. So we're going to first of all work out 10 lots of 13. So 13 times by 10. Remember, when you multiply by 10, all of the digits move one place to the left. So 13 times by 10 equals 130. So that gives us 10 lots of 13. We didn't want 10 lots of 13, we wanted 9 lots. So we need to take away 1 lot of 13. So 130 subtract 1 lot of 13 is equal to 117. So 13 times by 9 equals 117. So now it's your turn. You're going to do some fluency questions, and just like we had when you were at school, you've got the mild challenge, you've got the spicy challenge, or you've got the extra hot challenge, and you can choose which challenge you're going to go for. You might want to start easy, but if you're finding it too easy, push yourself a little bit, see if you can go for a harder challenge, or if you start and you find it really tricky, move back a level. Okay, so choose your challenge now. There's 2 activities for each of the challenges, and just work through them. Write the answers down in your books. Remember, you can draw diagrams, you can draw place value grids, and see if you can work out an efficient method for working out these multiplication questions. Pause the video and have a go now. And when you've done that, you can mark your own work. So here are the answers for the 3 different challenge levels. So if you've got the answer right, just put a tick. If you've not got the answer right, see if you can have a look back and see where you might have made a mistake. Maybe you can talk it through with one of your grown-ups at home, or work it out in a different way and see if you still came up with the same answer. So if you want to pause the video, you can mark your work.